Have you ever wondered why life breaks you before it blesses you? Why do the strongest believers often go through the hardest tests? My brothers and sisters, when Allah wants to strengthen you, He first softens you through struggle. He breaks you not to destroy you, but to rebuild you in a way you never imagined. Look at the lives of the prophets. Yusuf alayhi salam was thrown into a well before he reached the palace. Musa alayhi salam fled in fear before he led his people to freedom. Even the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu lost his loved ones before he carried the message of mercy to the world. So when your heart feels shattered, know this: Allah is not punishing you, He is preparing you. Your brokenness is not the end, it's the beginning of your true strength. Why Allah breaks the heart before He builds the soul? Sometimes Allah breaks your heart, not to harm you, but to remove what doesn't belong there. We fill our hearts with attachments, expectations, and illusions of control. When those attachments are shattered, it feels like life is falling apart. But in truth, it's falling into place. Allah removes what blocks your growth so your soul can finally breathe again. A heart that has never been broken often becomes arrogant. It starts to rely on itself instead of Allah. But when life humbles you, when people betray you, when the doors close it, forces you to turn back to the only one who never lets you down, that moment of return is the beginning of spiritual transformation. Pain exposes your weaknesses. It shows you where you've placed your trust. Have you depended too much on people, on status, on comfort? When Allah breaks the heart, it's to shift your reliance from the dunya to the divine. He teaches you through loss what you could never learn through ease. The Prophet ﷺ said, if Allah loves a servant, He tests them. Why? Because tests purify the soul. They remove the pride, the ego, and the false security that can blind us from our real purpose. Through hardship you are softened, and through softness you become closer to Allah. When your heart breaks, your dua changes. It becomes raw, real, sincere. You stop reciting memorized lines and start speaking from the depths of your soul. That kind of connection is priceless. And sometimes Allah allows the break so you can experience that level of closeness with Him. Look at the lives of the prophets. Each one faced heartbreak. Ibrahim alayhi salam was asked to sacrifice his son. Musa alayhi salam was rejected by his own people. Yusuf alayhi salam was betrayed by his brothers. Yet in each case, Allah used the pain to build their souls for greater missions. Brokenness humbles you. It reminds you that you are not in control. And in that humility, your heart becomes softer, more grateful, more connected to your Creator. The Quran says, indeed, with hardship comes ease. But sometimes the real ease is found within the hardship itself, because that's where you find Allah. When Allah breaks your heart, He is also making room for something better. Maybe He's removing a person who wasn't good for you. Maybe He's protecting you from a hidden danger. Or maybe He's preparing you for a level of spiritual strength that you could never reach without first being broken. Pain forces you into reflection. You start to ask the deeper questions. Why am I here? What is Allah teaching me? How can I purify my heart? These questions are the first steps toward real change. And often you wouldn't ask them until the heart is cracked open. So the next time your heart breaks, remember this: it's not the end of you. It's the beginning of a new chapter. Allah is not punishing you. He is polishing your soul, preparing you for something greater. And one day you will look back and realize the break was actually the blessing. The pain you feel is not punishment, it's preparation. Pain often feels like punishment, but in reality it's usually preparation. Allah never puts you through hardship without a reason. Sometimes the pain you're feeling is shaping you for something you've asked for in dua. You may have prayed for strength, growth, or guidance, and this difficulty is the doorway to receive it. When you experience pain, it humbles you. It softens your heart, reminding you that you are dependent on Allah for everything. Without hardship, some people become arrogant or forgetful. But pain brings you back to your knees. And that is where true transformation begins. It realigns your soul with its Creator. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever Allah intends good for, He tests. This means that pain is not a sign of Allah's anger, it's a sign of His love. He tests those He wants to elevate. He purifies the hearts of the believers through difficulty so that they return to Him with sincerity and gratitude. Every hardship carries a lesson. Sometimes Allah allows you to feel pain to teach you patience. Other times, He is teaching you empathy so you can later comfort someone else who suffers. The pain refines your character, making you gentler, more understanding, and more aware of the struggles of others. Many of the prophets endured intense pain, yet they were the most beloved to Allah. Yusuf alayhi salam was betrayed. Musa alayhi salam faced rejection. The Prophet Muhammad sallam lost his family, his wealth, and his safety. But all of these trials prepared them for greatness. Your story is no different. When you're in pain, your prayers become more sincere. Your heart opens wider. You stop relying on people and start relying fully on Allah. This shift is exactly what the pain was meant to do. It brings you back to your Lord with a humbled spirit and a softened heart. Pain also teaches gratitude. It's easy to take life for granted when everything is going smoothly. But when you face trials, you begin to appreciate even the smallest blessings. You realize that peace, health, and safety are not guaranteed. They are gifts from Allah, given and taken as He wills. Sometimes the pain is there to protect you. What you wanted may not have been good for your soul, and so Allah redirected you through difficulty. It may not feel like protection at the time, but later you will see how that closed door saved you from something far worse. Hardship builds resilience. When you survive something you thought would break you, you come out stronger. You realize that your strength didn't come from yourself, it came from Allah. That awareness makes you unstoppable in faith because you know Allah carried you through. Patience in pain is one of the highest forms of worship. The Quran promises, indeed the patient will be given their reward without account. 39:10. Every moment you endure with grace is being written as a reward. Allah sees your silent struggles and He is preparing something beautiful for you. Your pain is also a reminder of Jannah. This world is temporary and its struggles will end. Allah promises that no pain in this life will go unnoticed. Every tear, every hardship, every moment of quiet endurance will be rewarded in the hereafter in ways you cannot imagine. So, if you're hurting right now, don't lose hope. Your pain is not punishment, it's preparation. Allah is shaping you, strengthening you, and setting you up for something greater. Trust His process even when it's painful. Because after the hardest tests often come the greatest blessings. Strength is hidden inside struggle. Strength is not born from ease. It is hidden deep inside struggle. When life feels heavy, it's because Allah is allowing you to discover muscles of faith you didn't know you had. It's in hardship that you find parts of yourself that were asleep during comfort. Struggle awakens resilience. If everything came easily, you wouldn't grow. The mountain you're climbing right now is building your patience, humility, and trust in Allah. Every step teaches you that real strength doesn't come from the body, it comes from the heart. And the heart is trained through hardship. The Prophet ﷺ faced more trials than anyone, yet he never lost hope. His life teaches us that strength is not found in never struggling, it's found in staying steady during the struggle. Allah builds the strongest believers by testing them with the deepest challenges. Pain forces you to dig deeper. When you think you've reached your limit, but you still keep going, that's where strength lives. It's in those moments when you cry but refuse to quit, when you fall but choose to rise again. That is the unseen strength that struggle plants inside you. Every trial is an invitation to discover your capacity. You won't know how strong your faith is until it's tested. You won't know how much patience you have until you're forced to wait. Struggle is not the enemy, it's the classroom where your soul is taught strength. Sometimes Allah allows you to be pushed to the edge so you'll finally realize your strength doesn't come from youth, it comes from Him. When you collapse in sujood, exhausted, that's where the real power begins. Strength starts when surrender begins. Look at Musa alayhi salam, standing at the sea with Pharaoh's army behind him. In that moment of fear, he said, "Indeed, my Lord is with me, He will guide me." That statement wasn't just faith, it was strength born from struggle. Allah split the sea because He trusted in the middle of fear. Struggle strips away your pride. It teaches you humility, reminding you that you need Allah in every moment. And through that humility, your soul becomes stronger. Real strength isn't loud or arrogant, it's calm, patient, and rooted in dependence on the divine. When you endure pain with sabr, you are building spiritual muscles. You are learning to stand taller, not because life is easy, but because Allah is holding you up. Strength is in trusting the process, even when you don't understand it, and continuing to move forward. Sometimes the strength you gain through struggle isn't visible to others. It's quiet, it's internal. It's in the way you stay kind when life feels cruel, in the way you stay soft-hearted when the world hardens. That silent strength is a sign of real spiritual growth. The Quran reminds us, indeed, with hardship comes ease. But it's during the hardship that the ease of inner strength is built. You find calmness in chaos. You discover patience in pressure. That's Allah teaching you strength from the inside out. Struggle is not a sign of weakness, it's a path to becoming stronger. When life squeezes you, you learn what you're truly made of. And if you respond with faith, dua, and resilience, you discover that the hardship didn't crush you, it revealed you. Even the hardest moments are a mercy. They break what is weak inside you so that what is strong can rise. They remove false attachments, ego, and illusion. And in that clearing, your soul finds a new level of strength that only hardship could unlock. When you look back at your life, you realize that the moments you thought would destroy you were the very moments that built you. Struggle carves out character. It teaches lessons no book can give. And Allah knows exactly how much you can handle. So the next time you face difficulty, remember, the struggle is not here to break you. It's here to make you stronger, wiser, and closer to Allah. Strength isn't the absence of struggle, it's what grows from within it. The story of every prophet, broken first, elevated later. Every prophet's story begins with a trial. Before they were honored, they were tested. Before they were raised in status, they were broken by life's hardest moments. This is not coincidence, it is divine design. Allah shapes His chosen ones through hardship before He elevates them. Look at Yusuf alayhi salam. Betrayed by his brothers, thrown into a well, sold as a slave and imprisoned unjustly. Yet through all of this, Allah was preparing him. His pain wasn't the end, it was the beginning of a journey toward leadership, wisdom, and forgiveness. Musa alayhi salam was forced to flee his home after accidentally killing a man. He wandered in exile, feeling lost and alone. But that exile was not a punishment, it was a training ground. Allah was building his courage and trust so he could one day stand before Pharaoh. Ibrahim alayhi salam faced the heartbreak of being rejected by his own father and community. He was thrown into a fire for refusing to worship idols, but Allah's plan was bigger. That fire became cool for him and he was later called the father of nations. His tests led to his legacy. Maryam alayhi salam was isolated, bearing a miracle child in silence. People accused her, slandered her, and judged her without knowing the truth. Yet through that pain, Allah honored her with a status no other woman has ever reached. She became a symbol of purity and strength. Even the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ experienced deep heartbreak. He was orphaned as a child, lost his beloved wife Khadija radiallahu anha, and endured years of rejection and persecution in Makkah. But through these trials, Allah prepared him to carry the final message to humanity. Noah alayhi salam preached for 950 years while his people mocked him. He watched his own son reject his message, yet Allah elevated him, naming him among the ulul azm, the great prophets of determination. His heartbreak was the path to his spiritual greatness. Ayub alayhi salam lost his health, wealth and family, yet remained patient. His body broke, but his spirit stayed firm. Allah restored his life with even more blessings, not because of his worldly achievements, but because of his steadfastness in the storm. Isa alayhi salam faced betrayal by those closest to him. He was plotted against, denied and rejected by his people. But Allah raised him both in status and in the heavens. His story teaches us that rejection from people is sometimes a sign of selection by Allah. The pattern is clear. Before elevation comes breaking. Before miracles come tests. Before success comes struggle. This is how Allah purifies the hearts of His prophets and strengthens their souls to carry the weight of their missions. If you feel broken, remember you are walking the path of the righteous. Allah does not crush you to destroy you. He breaks what needs to be removed. Pride, ego, attachments and weakness. What remains is purified faith and unshakable trust. The prophets never complained about why they were tested more than others. They understood that with greater responsibility comes greater refinement. The harder the test, the higher the rank in the eyes of Allah. This is the divine equation of growth. Your own pain may mirror theirs in small ways. When life feels heavy, remember their stories. You are not alone in your struggle. You are part of a tradition of believers who were first broken, then rebuilt stronger, then raised by Allah's mercy. In every difficulty you face, there is a hidden lesson. Allah might be preparing you for something greater, just as He did with the prophets. He tests those He loves. And through each hardship, He brings you closer to Him. So if you're in a season of breaking right now, don't despair. You are in the same process that every prophet went through. From heartbreak comes healing. From loss comes leadership. From breaking comes